Hey everybody, Gisele Grenier here. So I've got my list of questions pulled from the website. If you want to submit some questions for me to do on air, whether it's a project, answer a question, go to artplace.ca, click contact, fill in the information there. And if you don't mind your name being mentioned on air, or if you don't want your name mentioned on air, please make sure you put that in the comments. So this is going to be a 2-for-1. So the question that was asked, can you do something with tags? Okay, tags is not my strong suit, but I'm going to do something with that. And the other thing was to find belief that I can do something creative that's not just a mess. That's just a self-confidence issue. So I'm having that issue right now because working with tags is something I'm uncomfortable with. But when you really think about it, I'm obsessed working with artist trading cards. A tag is no different. It's just a different shape and it has a string on it. So I've got a whole bunch of stuff here. I kind of have an idea where I want to go with this. Modern, dark with copper. So this is where I'm going to kind of going towards. I've got this tag from a pair of jeans that I bought when I went to the Bahamas before the pandemic. And I love the look of it. So I'm going to use that. It's nice and thick. And I'm going to actually, where's my scissors? Cut the string off. And at the end, what I'll do is I'll put an eyelet in there. So I'm going to use that. I've got some flowers here, paper flowers. I'm going to be painting those and filling them in. I've got some random tags here. I've got some copper wire. This is 20 gauge copper wire from Princess Auto. My jewelry cutters. Paint. I'm going to call out the products. I may or may not use them all. I don't know. I need that one too. All right, so let's start off with the priming. So DecoWork Chalky Gesso, the white. To glue, I'm going to be using DecoWork Media Matte Medium, and I'm going to be using liquid glass. You'll see where I use that. I'm going to be using the DecoWork Media Modeling Paste, the clear. I've got these metallic micro beads in all these different colors. I'm going to be working with the copper, maybe the black, I don't know, probably the copper. And what else did I miss? Okay, so the paints, DecoArt Traditions, ultramarine blue, carbon black. I don't know if I'm going to use the opaque titanium white, but I pulled it out anyways. And I'm going to be using, for the flowers, the DecoArt Matte Metallics Charcoal and the Dazzling Metallics Worn Penny. This should be actually copper. Oh, God. Oh, you know what? That's fine. I don't want to have to try to search for it. And then to work with the modeling paste, I'm going to be using the Glamour Dust Black Ice Fine Glitter Paint. Ideally, I wanted to use like a Texture Fiero with a black, but I would have to make my own. So I'm going to do that with the modeling paste. So let's put this away. There's a lot of stuff going on here. The first thing I'm going to do, because this is going to take the longest to dry, I want to fill this flower. So I want to fill the flower with the liquid glass and the beads, which will take hours to dry. So I'm going to do that now. But in order to do that, I need to paint this. So let's just quickly, and then I'll explain it after. So let's just paint this with just carbon black. I'm just going to paint it. I'll turn that back upside down. I'm just going to paint it because just to get that in there. Because we can detail it after. And I have to paint it because once we put the beads in there with the liquid glass, it's going to keep whatever color is underneath. Just get a little bit of paint there. Now these are paper flowers, so they will start to warp as they get wet. And I don't have to wait though, because the liquid glass will just dry fine. Okay. I wasn't a fan of the blue. Oh, do not put your heat gun next to your water container. All right. So let's, I've got a little container here. And I already have some in here from leftovers, so I'm going to, you know what, let's just stick with the copper. Ebony, silver, ceramic, copper, antique copper. That's the copper there. Oh, hang on, let me close that. That one. These are metallic. Whoa, these are metallic beads. And I know what's going to happen. I'm going to make a mess. I want to mix them first. Oh, this is a liquid glass, which is on its last legs. I want to use every ounce of it. Oh, that's starting to clump up. Okay, that bottle's finished. That should still, yeah, that should still dry clear. Okay, I'm just going to put some of that in here. Mix that up. This already had little seed beads in there. I want it completely full. This is like baking. Last time I did this, I sneezed and they went, phew, they went everywhere. So when you're, because I'm using liquid glass, it's going to look like it's suspended in water. And I'm going to get my little stick here. Just like that. Like I said, this is going to take hours to dry. You know what? Let me just paint the edges. Like I said, this is going to dry transparent, so just get the edges right up here. It'll be interesting to see what it's going to look like with the background painted black, the petals painted black, and then the liquid glass being clear. So let me get another one. And let me do another one just in case. Mia. Can you hear her? Her little friends next door, the little weenie dogs, are going out for a walk. Look what you did, you're going without me. Okay. Mia, stop. Now this is going to be a longer than normal video. I'm not going to apologize for it because I want to really work with the details on this for the beginners. That's going to be my focus for 2021. Is really working with more beginners to get you guys doing art, not just watching the videos. You've got to get out there and create. Take something that you've learned, not just from you, for everybody. Take something that you've learned, and the way to really learn it is you got to do it. Nothing frustrates me more than people just watching the videos and not doing anything with the knowledge that they've learned. Life is too short just to consume content and not do anything with it. Okay. All right, so that's that. Okay, unfortunately, this bottle of liquid glass, I think, is on its way out. Okay, dokie. Now, while that dries, I'm going to leave that there. I don't want to put that back in. I don't have any more room. Joe, build me another desk. Okay, we're going to gesso this first. Oh, I got to get a container for that. And I'm just going to take the gesso and I'm just going to put that on there. Of course, I took a brush that was too small. Dummy. Work with the biggest brush you can just to get it done. And all I'm doing is basically removing the branding. Thank you, DC Jeans, but I don't need to see your branding. But if you want the branding to show up, that's fine. There. There's going to be a lot of layers on this. There we go. And you can do the back as well. I'm just more working on this as a tutorial, so I'm not going to worry about it. Oh my God. Oh. So let's put that aside. Now, while we're here, let's glaze these as well. Oh. Okay, a speck of black. Oh. Speck of ultramarine blue. Yeah, that should be all right. Get rid of the gesso on the brush. You do not want an ounce of gesso on there. And you want to add a little bit of blue, a little bit of black to the blue. And what this does, it creates a color that's going to be more opaque. Typically, I would make a chromatic black, which is black with color. I would typically use ultramarine blue and burnt sienna or phthalo blue and let's say burnt umber or something. That becomes more transparent. The carbon black is opaque, which is what I'm looking for. And, oh my goodness. So if we want to see the true underlying color, that's what we've got. I want to take some white and mix it in, and that's what we're looking for. Okay. And I'm going to mist these little paper flowers. I just picked these up from, oh, I think I picked these up from Michael's quite a few years ago. Now, I would have preferred to use the misters, the Deco Art misters. The unfortunate thing is they always clog. So I don't know if they've changed the bottles or maybe they've changed the formulation. I have to find out from them if they changed. But that's one thing that drove me crazy is they were always clogging. So I didn't, I wasn't using them as misters anymore. What I love about them over any other misters is that they're permanent. The product itself is permanent. It doesn't dissolve with water, which is what I really liked. All right, so I'm painting these little flowers, and as I'm painting them, I've got a little bit of water. They're starting to wiggle and warp, which is fine. It's because the water is into the paper and it's changing all the molecules and all that other sciencey stuff. And we're going to be touching these up with copper paint. The water basically stains it. Like I said, misters would have been a much nicer thing because you can just spray. But they're all clogged. Even if I turn them upside down and then spray into the garbage can, they were still getting clogged up. There we go. That's that one. Now, while I'm here, just going to tint the tag, and this is just going to be for background. They're not even really going to be part of the piece. It's just to create some interest in the background. And you know what? While we're here, that's dry now. Let's paint that. Now what I want to do is I want to have that really rough. I don't want a solid layer, typical solid layer. I want that rough because we're going to be putting a lot of layers on this. So tags, yeah. So the thing with tags being uncomfortable for me, that's just a confidence thing because honestly, I love working with artist trading cards, which are small. Tags are just bigger. That's the only difference. They're just bigger. Ooh, okay, well, I went a little fast there. Ooh, I like that. Like that. Okay, I went in the wrong pile of paint. Ah. There we are. I went in the wrong pile of paint. You tool. Such a tool. Oh, I like that effect. I think I picked up some black again. So this is going to be a dark, let's get some black in there. This is going to be a dark tag with copper accents. Okay, happy accident. That worked out really well. I like this. Okay, let me dry this in the middle because I want to hit that again. I probably shouldn't even worry about that because there's going to be something over it. And I'm contemplating the theme for 2021 being my dark side of vintage again. Yeah. Let's work with that. See? Don't care. It looks fine for me. It's a happy accident. I don't think I could replicate this again. Oops, oops, oops. Let me put these little puppies over here. Over there, over there, over there. All right. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to glue some down. We're going to glue some down. Oh, loving that. And you know what I bought? So we just got over Christmas, and basically I bought Joe 4 cases, four 2-4s of Waterloo beer for Christmas. We don't need anything, but Joe loves craft beer, and the Waterloo beer he was drinking, we couldn't find it at Sobeys or at Freshco or the beer store, so or the liquor store. So I ordered it directly from Waterloo, which is a local craft beer. I think they're one of the original, if not the original, craft brewery. So I bought him 4 2-4s. He showed up in a truck, and the neighbors are looking to see what's going on. So for me, he said, order whatever you want on Amazon, that'll be your gift. So I ordered a whole bunch of audio equipment, which I have to send back because none of it works the way I want. So I thought, okay, well, I'll order a couple of pieces, and then the stuff like this, I'm not comfortable using it, but this is all just tags and stuff like that. So I would love for you guys to do a virtual challenge with me. I want you guys to tell me what to do with this stuff politely, and I'd like to create some pieces, but just tell me what to do. Yeah, so politely. Let's glue this stuff down. I have to move you little guys. I have to move you, and I'm going to put you in here. That's dumb, Gisele. Dumb. Sometimes I don't know where my brain is. That I'm going to be curious with to see what it looks like. And as I, it's been, I think, 9 months since chaos passed, and I'm still, as I'm creating stuff, moving stuff around to make sure it can get, I'm waiting for it to jump on top of my table. I really, really miss that. Really miss that. Okay. I'm going to glue the tickets down, and what do I have for a brush that I can use that's clean? I want to make sure that I have a brush that doesn't have all this crap on it. Oh. And let's just put that down like that. This is just matte, the matte medium. And let's just pop you there. This is just to create some visual texture. Let's put you right there going across. And if you don't like getting your hands dirty, put some gloves on. Well, that was also done because I have a quote that's going to be going on here. Oh well. Who will? I found the perfect quote. All right. I need to do some stenciling now. I'm going to, and I'm going to need more paint. Oh. Now, if you guys have favorites, basically it has to be on Amazon, because we are not shopping. We don't have any local stores that carry all these steampunk and vintagey stuff anymore. So whatever's on Amazon, and I shop through Amazon.ca. So let me know what your favorite stuff is, and even if well, I would love if you could send me the link of what the actual thing is. That way, Joe can buy it for me for like whatever. Joe can buy it, and that way I can make stuff with it. I get stuck in my own ways of how I do stuff, but I would love to, you know, just to get challenged, to try, for me to, like, this is really outside my comfort zone. But, you know, let me know what you guys are favorites, the favorite stuff, and if I can find it on Amazon.ca, I'll pick it up. Tell me what to do with it, and we'll go from there. And if it doesn't turn out too bad, and I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. Oh. There we go. I think today is New Year's Day. I think it's New Year's Day today. I think. Okay, so I'm making another mixture like this. Now I added equal parts, but I'm going to mix the whole thing. So it's going to be dark. Clean that off. All right. My stencil. So this is a decor art stencil called Jacobin Floral. I don't know if they still make it. It's one of my absolute favorites. It's ASCO8. And anything that I've got here, you can go to decoart.com to for more information. And I'm going to position that. How do I get the paint in there? I'm just looking at how these flowers are. I know exactly what I'm looking for. I'm trying to find if I can see right there. Okay, right about there. That looks good. Okay, gonna get my stencil brush and paper towel. You want to know something, you guys? And I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a lot of complaining about this. I prefer working this at my own pace and not rushing to try to get these videos done in like 20 minutes. When I rush, I skip stuff, and then I end up having to spend more time answering questions because I skipped it. So I hope you guys don't mind that the videos are a little bit longer. You can always, depending on where you're watching this, I don't know if Facebook does it, but YouTube does, is that you can actually speed up the playback. So my voice will go a lot faster. What I'm doing though is I'm going to be including closed captioning on videos. That way you can watch the videos without hearing audio. But the closed captioning will be closed captioning that I do. I do the transcription, not let YouTube do it, because YouTube always gets it wrong. Because I talk fast. It's the Canuck in me. So, yeah, you can always speed up the video. I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to start doing the transcriptions, because that takes a long time. It's also for people who have... now, there's a politically correct way to say this. I was always using hearing impaired, but Joe and I have a client, and she says, no, you should not be saying hearing impaired, you should be saying deaf. My feeling is that you could have a hearing impairment but not be deaf. So I don't know what's the right way to say it. So if I don't mean to offend anybody saying the word hearing impairment, but that's one of the things with closed captioning as well, is for the hearing impaired. I figured if the TV networks can say it, then it's safe. So I'm just layering now this chromatic black. Yes. Opa. Okay, try to clean. Oh, you know what? I'm going to show you something. Oh, I'm just going to grab any random little card here. So where I did the stenciling, take a baby wipe. And I'm just going to wipe the stencil. Eek. The stencil is so delicate. The baby wipe is a little bit too wet, but what it's doing is creating a ghost image on the card. I mean, it's not a perfect clean edge, but it's a background. A background. I'm going to do a book of backgrounds. Book of backgrounds. I'll have to do a formal video on that. And just clean that up. But ideally, Tupperware, not Tupperware, plastic tub with water. Slip your stencil in there so it stays wet. Alrighty, so that's done. Now, I'm going to use the same stencil, and I'm going to get the modeling paste. Modeling paste, and why do I have a funny feeling I'm not using the right one? No, that's just, yeah. It's the black modeling paste I should have been using, but I don't have any. Oh. There's a piece of goopy crud there. Oh. Let's see. I want to get some glitter in here. I'm not sure if I want to use that now. This is clear. Let's see what happens. I would have loved to have used, you know what? I'm going to add, I have no idea how this is going to work. Okay, so this is the Glamour Dust Black Ice, and I'm going to add, I should have added the black, but let's see what happens with the copper. Okay, there's some copper and there's some clear in there. And the black ice should cover up the beads, but it should be, oh yeah. It's going to be, this is more of an experiment, because you know I love to experiment. All right. Papa. I want to use a different pattern. Okay, so I did that, so I'm going to move over there. Ooh, it sounds gritty. I'm not going to put it everywhere. There we go. Okay, I need to clean that. Clean that. Bear with me for a sec. Get you out of the way, get you out of the way. There we go. So if this works the way I think it will, that's going to be transparent, and all you're going to be able to see is a little bit of glitter. The transparent will be kind of like a grayish with, and you'll still see the beads through it. That's what I'm hoping. That's going to take, I'm going to let this dry overnight. And then I have to clean this up. Oh, what a waste. What a waste. What a waste. Well, not much happening there, but let's see what I can get with that. I want to go and clean that now. Alrighty, so we've done, let's see, we're waiting for the flowers to dry, which are these little guys here. And I made an emergency one, and we've got to wait for that to dry. What we're going to do next is when everything is dry, I'm going to create these wire leaves out of this 20 gauge copper. And the 20 gauge copper is soft enough to manipulate. If you use wire that's too thick, now this is beyond the scope of this project. You'll have to soften the copper by using a torch, a soldering torch to soften it, which will make it more pliable. It's just easier just using thinner copper. 20 gauge, 22, 24, 26, 28, that's fine too. But we'll see where that goes. So I'm going to be making these as leaves, which will then go on the tag. And then the flowers will go on top of that, and then the quote. The quote that I'm going to be using is "Challenge the world." That's what I'm liking. That challenge the world. Yeah, I love all these quotes here. Challenge the world. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Alrighty, you guys. I will see you back here tomorrow, and we can put this puppy together. All right. So I'll see you then. All right. So it's been the next day. I do not like how these turned out. Yeah, no, I'm not liking these. So what I did is I took another little plain paper flower and I just stained it with the carbon black and phthalo blue. It's a little bit darker, but that's fine. And this turned out beautiful. That turned out really nice. All right, so now I'm going to paint, taking a round bristle brush with the worn penny. And I'm just going to load a little bit of paint on that, wipe the excess off on paper towel, and I'm just going to add a little bit of this on the edges, just to create a little bit of an accent, not a lot. It's that little highlight. And typically, the way I like to explain it is, you know, for highlighting edges is where the sun would hit if the flower was outside. But for this, it's to create some visual interest. Not too much though. Keep the application light. You can always add more, but it's much harder to take away. It's just something, where are we? Just something like that, really light. And then same thing here. These are hard to hold. Ah, okay, well now I put too much on. Almost dropped it. It's the next day, And we're having a huge snowstorm, and oh my goodness, my arthritis is acting up today. Anytime there seems to be dampness in the air. Which is a shame because the summertime then would be ideal, but the summertime, the air conditioners are on and you can't hear me talking. Okay, let me just put a little bit more here. There we go. I love this. I love that. All right, put that in the water. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry for a sec. I'm gonna edge this now. Where's my cosmetic sponge? And I'm just taking the same, the matte metallic charcoal. I was going to use regular carbon black, but because it's so dark, I don't think it's necessary. I think maybe a little bit more of this color on the edge would be a little bit nicer. Oh, and while I'm at it, so here's the other piece I did yesterday with the leftover stencil and leftover glitter stuff. It turned out really nice, so I'm going to definitely hang on to that. So now I'm just going to, I'm going outwards, inwards on my hands, just to add a bit more shading, and it looks like that, especially with the broken cosmetic sponge. So if something like that happens, just wipe it back and then use a damp cloth. You don't want to put too much on. And don't work as fast as I am. I'm working really fast because, well, you've got more time than I do. And I'm just finishing the back just to show you the technique so it's easier to see. So you get that nice edge. See, look at the mess I made. If I just slowed down a little bit. And I think I did say that in the last video, is that I prefer now working much slower so I can enjoy the process instead of spending all my time looking at this monitor, this audio, and that camera. Oh, the woes. Please feel sorry for me. Okay, so let's get the eyelid in there. Let me just dry this for a sec. And I've got a copper eyelet. I was going to use black, but it'd be, it might be a bit much. So I'm just using my punch here. Where's the large? Right here. Now I have to match up the hole. There's something in there. Ah, grr. Nice. It's really early in the morning and I'm drinking my chai tea this morning, and it's caffeine free, so can't blame it on the caffeine. Just have to make a bit of a bigger hole and pop that in there and make sure I get this the right way. Don't you love hearing the noises that I make when I'm punching these eyelets? Oh my goodness. There we go. And then I'll just put something on the back. And all that's left really is just to do the wire. You can use string as well if you want. So I'm going to cut. So when you're cutting the wire, what you want to do if you have flush cutters, you want to cut it in like this because that'll cut the wire straight. If you cut it this way, it's going to cut it on an angle. All right, so let's see, this wire is soft enough. I thought I had, well, I guess not. I thought I had my tweezers here. So what I'm looking at doing is just getting the right length. And I don't want to pre-cut the wire because I want to be able to, and where there's that kink, I'll fold it there. I know it looks kind of sloppy right now. You know, I don't think I was on camera. Just trying to get an average. Okay, so I'm thinking I'll be able to cut it right about here. All right, so so all I'm doing is I'm just going to fold these. Get some short ones too. You know, I'm thinking 22 gauge might have been better. 22 or even 24. So don't forget the flowers are going to be on here. You know what? I'm going to go to a smaller gauge. Hang on a second. I decided to go with 28 gauge. See the difference? It is really thin, and this is much nicer. And this is copper that I was using, well, I was using to make raw copper jewelry and for soldering and all that stuff. This is so much easier, almost like stirring. Okay, just have to get it set there. There we go. I'm just gonna wrap, wrap, wrap. And I'm gonna go between the two. Just make sure that you can get this off your fingers. And you just kind of separate it, pinch it in the middle, wrap it around. There you go, and just separate. Oh, it's so much easier. Like that, and then the flower goes on top. And some you can make longer, some you can make shorter. Let's just get some placement here. There we go. I think that's really pretty. Liquid glass, and I'm going to dry fit this again. Where's the leaf? That, and I'm just going to, let me just make sure that I've got the wires in the right place, because once I set this, I want to let it sit for a while. I'm going to make this a little bit longer, so I'm just going to pull the wire. And then once you have that set, just glue it down with the liquid glass, because the liquid glass will dry transparent, so that's good. One more quick dry fit. Oh, Joe's home. There. Me, I'll be running up the stairs waiting for her food. There we go. And then cap that. Now this string really isn't really appropriate because it's a rustic string. I could turn around and just get my ribbon. Oh, the ribbon's on the other shelf. Get some black ribbon and tie that in here. But basically, there's your tag. And you can, now the other thing you can do is if you take the black ribbon and where you tie it, and you can tie some beads so it would be a bit more heavy. But there you are. And then I would just let this sit for, a day or so to make sure that it's nice and steady. And the other thing you could do is before putting the flowers on, put some parchment paper and something heavy so it stays flat. All right, so I had to stop because Mia came bombing in here. I had to go feed her. Then I thought, I'm gonna, come on. I did test this and it did, whoopsie, it did fit. Now it's just gonna give me a hard time. Use this and I'll just use wire. There we go. Yes, this is why you need to let this stuff dry. And then what I'll do with this, I can pick a spot right down here. I'm going to offset it and then take the wire nice and tight. And the nice thing about using this wire is that it's not so heavy that it would poke you. You know, some wire pokes you really, really strong or really hard. This is not like that. It's almost like thread. And you can even put a little bit of glue on there, liquid glass, to hold it. Or just dangle a bead from it. That in there. And now this is starting to curl a bit because of the glue, but that's fine. There we go. Let's get all this other poopy stuff out of the way. Just massage this a little bit more. Lift some of that wire up so it creates a little bit of dimension. Oops, I squashed my flower. Look at that, I squashed my flower. That is easy enough to fix. The flower is still a little bit damp from when I painted it this morning. There we are. Oops. You are not going to stay there. Let me just get a bit more glue. But yeah, if you've got time, what to do is set the wire first and then set the flowers. Set the wire first, let it dry, then set the flowers. Here we go. So what do you guys think? I think, there we go. So there we go. So that's all set. You know what I thought would be nice too? This, you know those, the chains, the ball chains for light fixtures? That would have been nice for this as well. Took the quote off. And just going to put it right there. Now, because it's paper, I actually, you know what? These ones would be better. Let me just put this one back. I really like that quote though. Because of all the texture. So now I have to find something that's small. Be brave. Oh, that's so cliche. Ooh. Be true. That one I like. That one I like. Be true. The idea, actually I want to use my brush. The idea of being true to what you want to do in life. Not doing what you need to do because other people say you have to do it. I was guilty of that. You know, and as kids, we all do what our parents tell us to, and you know, we do the job, we go to school, take the courses that our parents say we have to take, we become what our parents want us to become, and then we become what our spouses want us to become, or what our brothers and sisters say we have to do. But in the end, you have to do what makes you happy. As long as you're not hurting anybody. Be true to yourself. All right, you guys, there you go. What do you think? So I would love to know, if you're watching this on YouTube, I would love to know, see pictures of what you've made. So click in the description below, head on over to the private Facebook group and post your pictures in there. If you're watching this from Facebook, awesome. I want to see your pictures as well. And then if you've made tags, what do you do with them after the fact? I mean, it's all great and dandy making these, but you don't want to hoard them like this. I know exactly who I would give this to, and I think she would really, really love it. But what do you do with them? You can also make an alternative for this as a book cover, if you made it a little bit bigger and just make a book cover. As a bookmark, no, it wouldn't work, but as a book cover, yeah, it would. So anyways, so that's it. I'm going to let this dry for a good day, and I'm going to make a nice little package for it and give it to my special friend, and hope she really likes it. All right, you guys, so hope you enjoyed this, and until I see you next time, stay inspired.